Hey guys, do you remember when my entire apartment flooded and we had to evacuate, and then they cut holes into our drywall and took away all of the baseboards and we had to move everything into the center of each room in order to do that?
So this stretch of Front Street looks totally normal right now, but for those impacted by yesterday's flooding, it's anything but.
I mean, it's been crazy.
Well, now I'm at my parents' house. So today is Wednesday. Last Monday is when the flood happened. I left for my parents on Tuesday. I'm back in my hometown with the dogs. We basically had to evacuate because there was absolutely no way that the dogs could handle all of the noise of like the dehumidifier and the huge industrial fans. And then, of course, cutting the drywall, taking out the baseboards, all of that, and then cutting the drywall again to replace it. So by the time that this is done, I will have been at my parents' house for 2 weeks. Yes, Sloan is traveling for work, but I've actually been having a really great time here with my parents. I'm very close with them, and we've been going to a lot of thrift stores. Thrift Gold is here. So the agenda for this video will be showing you what I'm working on creatively and how far I've gotten. Number 2 will be books that I've finished while being here and started reading. And 3, I want to show you my little haul. Okay, so thankfully I brought a couple of knitting projects to work on. Okay, it doesn't look like much, but this is the cumulus top. I used Knitting for Olive cotton merino in dark cognac, and I really love working with this yarn. It is definitely a very thin yarn. So far, I have made up all of the little triangles that go at the top and then connected under the arm, and now I'm just knitting in the round. I'm really happy with how it's been coming out. I'm using US 2.5 needles, 3mm, and I'm almost done with my first ball of yarn. I got 3 for this project, and that should be enough. Never used this nice of yarn before. I usually just use like thrifted yarn or drops, which tends to be on the cheaper side minus the shipping. So it was very exciting for me to try this out. The stitch definition is absolutely beautiful. It knits up very evenly, which I like. So it's been really fun to work with. And then project number 2 that I've been working on. In one of my last videos, I told you about all of the yarns that I got at a thrift store for $2.50, and they're like really nice yarns. This is one of the not so fine yarns, but I really like it because as soon as I found it, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to use that for. So as you can see, this yarn has like a variegated light to dark blue color, and then it has these absolutely gorgeous cobalt blue sequins in it. And I am knitting up a shawl. I think it's called the Crystal Shawl. It's by Violent Cat Lady, and it is a free pattern, so I'll be sure to link that below and put the information on the screen. It had an I-cord cast on, which I've never done before. It was very fun to do that. It's just stockinette until you reach the required length. I really like it. It's definitely like a little bit scratchy. There's absolutely no way I'm gonna wear this like directly on my skin. Actually, that doesn't feel so bad. I didn't follow the pattern as far as the exact yarn and the exact size needles. I had to test out quite a few sizes of needles, but I ended up on the US 8 5mm. On a circular, I really like using the circulars. It's just like a lot less fumbly because the actual needles are shorter and the cable makes it flexible. So I've really been enjoying that as well. Cannot recommend this pattern highly enough. It's awesome. So those are the 2 projects I've been working on. Oh, and originally I was going to hold that blue yarn double with, this is either a brushed merino or a brushed alpaca yarn, and I was going to hold it double with the sequin yarn, but ended up not, just because it was creating too tight of a stitch. But I really love this color. I'm definitely going to make something with this. This is another one that I had thrifted. So as I was editing my clips, I realized that I hadn't hit record on the book reviews, so I'm going to do those now. No. Okay. I've finished 2 books since being here. I don't know if this is actually... I've had a lot of great, uninterrupted, undistracted reading time. And the first book that I completed was Victorian Psycho. This is a novel by Virginia Feito, and it's being made into a movie, or I think it was made into a movie, and it's being made into another movie with Margaret Qualley. I'm confused. I was trying to look up some information about it. This book is great. It is very disturbing, very eerie, very unsettling, very strange. The narrator is repugnant, which I tend to really enjoy in books. And it's basically about this woman, Mrs. Lamb, who interviewed to become a governess at this incredibly wealthy estate. And she totally lied about everything on her resume. She is clearly not qualified to take care of the children, which she has been tasked to do. She's been hired to take care of the 2 children, Andrew and Drusilla, to teach them their lessons, get them awake, put them to bed. And the one scene of this book, she puts the children to sleep for the first time, like her first night on duty. And once they fall asleep, she licks the tips of their fingers. Very odd. It ends up getting incredibly chaotic and disturbing. So definitely recommend that one. That was a 4.25 stars for me. Now, I know I told you a few videos ago that I tend to only like disturbing, dystopian, body horror, thriller books with like very unreliable, dry lead characters. However, my friend Amanda let me borrow her copy of Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And much unlike A Court of Thorns and Roses, that series, the lead of this book is great. She's a female assassin. She's incredibly dangerous. Her name is Selena, and she was enslaved in a salt mine for assassinating some terrible men. Her backstory is kind of questionable. We're not exactly sure like what's going on. The crown prince takes her out of imprisonment, enslavement really, and offers her a deal. He says, you can either become my father's champion, which is basically his personal assassin, and once you do that for 4 years, you'll be completely free, or you can go right back into enslavement for the rest of your days. So of course she says yes. It's only after she says yes to this deal that he also adds, oh, there's a catch. You're actually competing to be my father's champion. And so you're kind of not sure like what's going to happen and if she actually will win. I ended up finishing that one. And my other friend Ashley, who's really into Sarah J. Maas and specifically this series, I was talking to her about the first book. It's a huge series. So this is the second one that I'm reading, and then I'm choosing to read Assassin's Blade per Ashley's recommendation, which is also the author's recommendation. And then eventually in the series, you read 2 books in tandem because they're occurring at the same exact time. So the storylines are happening at the same time, I guess, from 2 different viewpoints. There's like a guide online, and Ashley suggested putting in Post-it notes so that when you're at the end of the allotted chapter, there's a Post-it note in there saying, okay, now move on to this chapter in the other book. And then so forth, so you can read them in tandem. I'm usually reading like 2 or 3 books at a time, so this will work perfectly for me. I'm very excited about it. I never thought that I would really be into a fantasy series, but I'm extremely into this, I think, because it is a very strong female lead who kills men. Not that I would want to do that, but these men deserve it, so cool. All right, now I shall show you some of my haul. This will be part one of my haul. So my parents and I love thrifting, and I have several like hidden gem thrift stores here that I love for different reasons. Like some of the stores are really good for clothing, some of them are really good for like figurines and mugs, some of them are good for everything. So we've been hitting up every single one, which was probably like 6 or 7. I got this little figurine. It is a Halloween house. I think it's so cute. I had to wash it and scrub it a little bit, but the paint started coming off, so it just is what it is. Now these are really cute. I'll show you details of these, but I got 6 of these little fabric ornaments, and they're stuffed. I absolutely adore them, and I'm planning on making a garland with them for Christmas to hang in our home. Continuing on the holiday train, this made me laugh, so I had to get it. We love like little strange figurines, so I got this tall snowman with a very funny smile. The next thing I got was at it's like a used art store that people donate arts and crafts supplies to, and they also have like little trinkets and candles and such. But I've been looking for like really bright threads, so I got these. Sloan has been looking for some new hobbies, so I decided to get some needlepoint kits, which I will show you the details of. My favorite is the little moon for myself, and then I think their favorite is going to be the Go For It, Catnaps Are a Necessity. I also got some ribbons and rickrack binding tape. Been really wanting to add stripes and little bows to athletic shorts and other things. Athletic shorts is the one that I can think of right now, but I know that there's like some other projects I want to do. I got these amazing stickers for my books. I got these cute little recipe cards. They have like little plums or olives at the top, which I thought was very cute. And then I got this Pentel oil pastel set with 25 colors. I think it's so cute. My mom actually found me this project bag. Once I wash it, definitely needs wash, but once I do wash it, I'll be able to put my knitting projects in there and just kind of either carry them around the house as like a house purse or carry them to a cafe, library, wherever I go. getting ready for an event tonight. My friend Nick, who is a DJ in my hometown, got me some complimentary tickets for an event he's DJing, and there will be never before seen technology, and I'm super excited to see what that means. So I invited my friend Anne, and then her husband also got a ticket. Excited to dance. I love the way that Nick mixes his music. His music choices are dope. A pretty big artist is headlining the show, so very stoked about that. Then tomorrow, I'm going to my favorite restaurant, my favorite Indian restaurant in my hometown with my Aunt Debbie. We're very close. I'm looking forward to that. And then actually Sunday, I'm leaving for a cabin. Leaving from here to go to the cabin. I was gonna leave from our apartment, but they're still, as I stated earlier, working on like the drywall and painting and replacing everything. So I don't want to bring the dogs back there until that's finished. I found this recipe for tomato margaritas, so I'm gonna make the tomato syrup that we need for that. I think I'm gonna make a quiche as well. I'm just gonna use vegetables that my parents have just to use them up. Very busy. I'm not usually this busy. Maybe I am and I just think I'm not.
Okay, our phones were in a lockbox, so we couldn't film. However, that was amazing. There was literally a hologram of a DJ broadcasting from Toronto. A hologram with a shadow, with a full DJ set. And the sound and the hologram synced up perfectly, like not even a split second behind. It was crazy.
Good morning. If you're wondering why I have a shiny face, it's because I'm using this zombie cell clarifying mask by Acure. It's a revitalizing mask. So I did like 2 layers of it and I have to leave it on for 10 minutes. Last night was wild. We had to put our phones in lock boxes so I couldn't film anything, but Nick did a great job, and then Neil Francis was awesome. I actually didn't realize that they were DJs. And then the never before seen technology and surprise headliner was LP Giobi. I'm not really sure how to pronounce her last name. She was broadcasted from her set in Toronto, and she was a hologram. It was pretty crazy. There were definitely like some flaws. The contrast on her was so insanely bright. I'm like nitpicking at it, but there was a shadow behind her as she was performing, and she could also see us, so she was like pointing out people in the crowd, and that was really odd. It was really fun. The technology was awesome. It was wild because the perspective, her DJ table looked like it was literally on the stage. Like it wasn't overlapping in any way. It wasn't like floating in any way. It was pretty much perfect. And then the shadow behind her was absolutely wild to me. That was really cool. That made it very realistic. I was on Reddit this morning reading, and there were definitely mixed reviews about it. People were talking about how it really took away like the human element of going to a DJ set and seeing someone perform and, you know, share music. People were leaving like 2 minutes into her set, which I actually didn't notice. I didn't get any footage, obviously, since our phones were in the lockbox. I did just want to show you how far I've come with my crystal poncho. I'm just going to use this as my microphone. Here we go. It's coming out really beautiful. I am a little bit afraid. I'm not really good at playing yarn chicken or estimating how much yarn I'm going to need for a project. So I'm anticipating maybe having to like run to Michael's, which would be the closest yarn store. I'm not sure where that cut off because my alarm to take off my mask, which I still haven't done, went off. I am not very good at estimating amounts of yarn when I'm just kind of like, especially because I changed the needle size and the amount of stitches that I cast on. So I'm not sure that this is going to yield the length that I need. But if worse comes to worse, I can just get some shade of blue, like roving style yarn. And then if I really want to go wild, I can get some cobalt blue sequins and sew them in myself. I eventually do want to push some of the sequins that moved to the back of the project to the front. I would probably use like tweezers or something, just a mindless activity. I'm going to end the vlog here. I'm going to wash my face mask off, get on with my day, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.